When Fortnite OG came to an end, we all worried Chapter 5 would be hated. While it's got a lot of things right, there are some things players are furious with, and the most annoying being the price of cars. I'm sure they look amazing, but then you scroll down and see 4,000 V-Bucks for a single vehicle. Come on, Fortnite, for that price, we might as well buy a real one. And it's not just cosmetics people aren't happy with. We just came from the OG season with one of the best mobility items in the game, the Grappler. Somehow Epic made it even better by removing fall damage, and everyone loved it, hoping it would stick around. Not only did it get vaulted immediately, but its replacement is the Grapple Blade, which is basically ODM gear, but worse. That's still not as bad as Chapter 5's upgrade station problem. There's barely any of these on the island, so if you want to upgrade your gun, you'll have to trek all the way to a vault just to add a scope. Imagine you find the perfect item, but it's got a scope you hate. So, you just remove it in your inventory, right? No, it's not how it works. You have to go all the way to a station just to disable it, which players are finding annoying. But at least it's a new feature, unlike walking. After 6 years, they have finally changed the animations, and the new ones look great, but they've also ruined movement speed. This had players furious, dropping in only to find themselves walking around in the open like a snail. The entire community begged Epic to revert it, or at least increase the speed, and thankfully they listened, buffing it in the latest update. If there's one thing we all look forward to each season, it's the trailer. It basically gives us an idea of all the new gameplay, except this time we got baited. In some shots, you can get a glimpse of the upcoming vehicles, including a Lamborghini. We've had collabs in the past with Ferrari, so this looked like the next one, right? Well, kinda. We are getting them, but it is just a paid cosmetic upgrade, and the base car is still a normal Whiplash. But hey, maybe you like it. Don't blame me, I'm just the messenger here. Either way, you'll need it to escape from all the NPCs. Not only are there 5 bosses on the map, but they come with hundreds of henchmen. Each of them has a small army, not to mention more guards spawn when you get them low health. So, if you take out the boss, you still have to deal with a dozen of these guys after you. They've also taken over POIs without a boss, meaning you can't go anywhere in peace. Luckily, Fortnite heard our pleas and officially nerfed them, reducing guards at all POIs. One thing that didn't need to change was the locker. It has gone through countless redesigns over the years, and finally, we were all happy with it. Well, apparently not Epic, because now the entire thing has changed to this. People hate how the items completely switch sides, separate categories, and that rarities have been removed. Honestly, pretty hard to use, so hopefully they'll give us an update we could all agree on. Kinda like how the entire community thinks the ballistic shield is broken. Sure, we've had the Guardian shield before, but this one you can shoot with, meaning up-close fights are basically decided the moment you equip one, especially in zero build. But thankfully, there's a way to counter it by aiming around or dealing enough damage, so maybe it's just something we need to get used to. The same goes for the new healing. When this was leaked, a lot of people expected it to use half your medkit and save 50 for later, but instead, you just throw it away? At least you get to heal while using the item, but that doesn't change the fact that you can't pick up weapons, ammo, or switch slots without losing it. You'll probably end up doing that a lot with how much you need to heal from the storm. It is ridiculously fast this season, with players getting trapped in a POI inside the first zone. We went from endgames, where the storm is still on 1 tick, to huge circles that are doing 5 damage a second. It has been updated slightly since day 1, so now the first 2 zones don't close as fast, but people still aren't happy. The storm is getting more kills than us. And even if you survive the zone, you still gotta hope your game doesn't crash. Since the new season, players have been having constant problems crashing no matter what platform you're on. Whether it's loading up the game, returning to lobby, or randomly mid-match, your screen goes black and just straight up closes. Tons of people reported it, and Fortnite status has heard our concerns, so a fix is coming soon. One thing players aren't hating is box fight 2v2. Everyone loved the first one so much that we came back with a twist. Queue up with your friends and jump straight into endless training with 0 input delay, save the limbs, and item shop rewards. My favorite is the T5 G-Pet, which you could earn by getting 1,000 kills, so type in this map code, pair up with a teammate, and rake in the XP. One issue that comes up season after season is the mythics. Sometimes they're too overpowered or hard to get, but recently they've been plain boring. People are getting tired of defeating a boss only to get a normal gun with slightly better stats than legendary. It just doesn't feel worth it. Back when you took out someone like Mando or Iron Man, you get an exclusive item only for them, but now it's hardly worth the effort. You'd probably be better off taking cluster grenades because players absolutely hate them. They're just like clingers but 10 times stronger, spitting out loads of explosives and dealing a ton of damage. I think the real problem here is their super common, so you can literally spam them at the start of a fight, making enemies rush for heals before you even fired a bullet. They are honestly one of the most effective explodes we have had in years. And a lot of people are torn on the new weapons added this season because of the change with projectiles. We're all used to guns being hit scan. If you aim at a player, it'll hit that exact spot. But now they have bullet drop, so you have to take distance and height into account, which feels a little weird. As you'd expect, the community isn't too happy with firing an AR like it's a sniper. But once again, let's spend some time with this before we make up our mind. But one thing that people love isn't being changed, it's getting wiped out. The storyline has been shaky since Chapter 4, but after the return of Sloane, Jones in a new live event, we were hopeful it was about to come back bigger than ever before. Instead, it looks like Sloane's plan has taken a backseat so he could play Lego. And now the entire season revolves around Peely being kidnapped, which feels more like a side story than anything. Personally, I'm not complaining, the new modes are awesome, but let's hope the story returns later in the chapter. Here's another big problem, you would have missed everything new if you didn't get into the live event. Fortnite brought back so many players for OG that millions tried to log in only to get stuck with 1-hour queues or kicked out right before the event began. Epic scrambled to fix things, announcing there would be 2 more showings for those who missed it, until the entire game went offline and they could only do 1 more. Obviously, it left a ton of people disappointed, so they auto-completed our quests and handed out a back bling as an apology. At least they tried to do something about it. But I think anyone would have paid to get the classic Peter Griffin in the game. We waited years for it to happen, being teased all the way back in 2020, with it finally arriving this season. But one thing was wrong, he's buff. It's not the iconic Peter we all hope to get from the show, leaving a lot of people with mixed feelings. Now you gotta understand, if they made him big, it would be basically pay to lose, so this seems to be the only option here. I do agree with the backbling controversy though, we got Brian but not Stewie. I guess we just have to pray Lois drops with him in the next few weeks. And while the train is one of the most loved features this season, it doesn't mean it's perfect. A lot of people hope you'll be able to go inside the carriages, only to find they're sealed shut. It's a bit of a letdown, especially after Epic showed this in a teaser. Even in the cinematic, the entire thing is made from coaches. Talk about misadvertising. For any XP grinders this season, prepare to have a lot of hours because you can't complete dailies anymore. For the first time ever, they have been changed and replaced by match quests, where you can only do 1 per game instead of all 3. They also remove party assist, meaning you'll have to play at least 3 games of BR a day and complete them by yourself to earn all of the XP. So if you're thinking of hiring an NPC to help you out, well, this feature is actually vaulted. At the start of the season, there were 5 of them available to hire around the map, but after just 1 day, Epic disabled them all. If you go up to them in game, they still have that icon above their head, only for us to be baited. Instead, you can get help from the bosses around the map because these guys drop one of the most useful items you could get your hands on. Pick up a medallion and you'll get shield and health regen constantly, which sounds great, right? Well, it is, until you run into a player who has all 5 of them. It's like fighting Thanos with every Infinity Stone. With the new loot island, you'd expect to see a brand new mythic, but there is nothing. It spawns like game like usual and has a bunch of people contesting it, only for the rewards to be some regular old loot you could have found in a chest. Loot Island used to be a key part to winning in Chapter 4, but now it just feels worthless. Can't say the same about snipers though. Even without a scope, these things can be one of the most powerful things this season. Trust me when I say, taking any scope mods off is the first thing you should do when you find one of these because it turns into a hunting rifle on steroids. People are starting to get taken out of the game in a single shot, with one half asking for a nerf while the others are just wiping entire lobbies. It's also made worse by the fact you can't find as many shields to protect yourself. It turns out they've been vaulted from ammo boxes. Usually opening a large one would give you minis or a big pod, but now it is only bullets. And if that nerf wasn't enough, for some reason they changed chests. Usually there's a 60% chance of spawning, but now it has been taken down to as low as 40, which has left a lot of people wondering how they're meant to find loot in Chapter 5. Now a lot of stuff has been hated simply because it's not like Fortnite OG, and people think that's their biggest mistake. By the end of November, players are practically begging Epic to keep it as a separate mode, only for the event to take it away. Well, it's not all bad. Epic came back with an announcement that shocked everyone. OG was so successful that it'll return later in 2024. If you're trying out the new modes instead of BR, you probably already hopped into Rocket Racing. It's incredible, but one thing that's worrying players is unlocking all the rewards. This time ranked forces you to reach Unreal to earn everything, unlike the usual quests which just make you play the game, so get ready for these wheels to become one of the rarest cosmetics. That's all of the community's biggest issues with Fortnite Chapter 5, brought to us by you the fans. But there is plenty of things to love too. We just gotta hand it to Epic for an insane new season and 3 brand new modes. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.